StreamYard. That's what he uses.
StreamYard. Okay, great. Now we're online. Now it connected properly. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of a timeout here with Zoom and YouTube. Maybe we have so many people on. That's probably why. Okay, I think we're going to blow up the servers here. We got so many people on. Okay. So let me just get everybody else on here. We got a lot more people filing in. I made all. Okay, guys, let's make sure. Yeah, StreamYard. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me mute that. There we go. Okay. Okay, guys, let's make sure. Please get off video. Please get off audio. I know you guys want to jump on right away. Please be patient. Okay. We're going to be starting here in just a minute's time. I'm just giving another minute here just for more people to come in onto the chat. We got a lot of participants here. And for those of you on Top Chat, I'll be getting to some of your questions as well too. So we're going to be taking questions from Zoom, and we'll be taking questions from YouTube chat as well too. Okay. So welcome everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm super happy to be here today with a great new friend of mine, Janine. Thank you, Janine, so much for being here. And it's great to have you all here. And guys, please do not come on video. Please, I'm going to boot you off if you try to come on video. Okay, let's be patient. I will give you guys the cue when you can come on video. Okay, it's like people jump. It's so funny. Okay, that's the thing with Zoom meetings. I can't really restrict people from that. So guys, when you're filing in, please wait. Okay, we're going to get to your questions here very quick. So Janine, how are you doing? How are things?
I'm doing good, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm very happy that you're here on the broadcast with me today. Like I said, we've had so many requests from people. I've gotten so many emails and messages from people who said, Brad, you got to get Janine on your show. You got to get Janine on. It's so great to have the two of you on here. So, hey guys, here's your manifestation at work, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm very, very happy to have you on today. And I know you've been so busy as well too. Do you want to tell people about your live streams, about what you're doing each week, and with Sending Ravens and your YouTube channel, Tarot by Janine, for those who may not know?
Mm-hmm. So I have a Tarot by Janine. That was my original channel. And that one is kind of like every 2 or 3 days. And sometimes once a day, I'll put something up, but that's getting less, I'm less able to do that. Mm. So every 2 or 3 days, you gotta something about what's going on in the world. Right. And we try to keep it really like, we use code words, and you know how it is, Brad.
Yes.
We have to be really careful because we want to stay on there because we want it to be accessible. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's been questions about that and saying, well, Brad, you've kind of done like stuff that maybe I haven't used code words, and you're still on YouTube. How does that happen? Well, first of all, I don't have as many subscribers as you do. So my audience isn't as big, but no, there's just been times I've actually put like intentions on my channel, not to actually have been taken down in regards to any particular forms of keywords that happen. And so far it's worked. So that's what I've been doing the past few years. So like I said, I'm just kind of crossing fingers and it stays that way. So very good.
Magic. Use your magic.
Yes, exactly. You got to use your spiritual magic. That's how you stay on. All right. So Janine, let's take some questions here from the chat. We're going to see, I got a few people here. Okay. I have one here from Genia. So this will be a good reading question. Will the general vaccine mandate in Austria, February 1st, 2022, be canceled, or will it hold out? This is from Genia. Again, about the general vaccine mandate in Austria.
Okay.
And let's see what the cards have to share. Yeah, and for everybody else here, guys, I know you guys have sent me questions by emails. We're not tackling those. Okay, these are just questions that are through the live audience. Okay. And Janine,
so the whole world is going to do a flip on the mandates. Okay, I've been getting that for a while. So it'll look like it for maybe a couple more weeks here. All of those cards are minor arcanas and 2s and 4s. There's a 3, 2, and a 4. So I'm thinking weeks. I think we're weeks away from a big flip. And that's what I got for most of December. Every time I looked at it, we would get the Wheel of Fortune in the Tower. So it feels to me like we're going to do like where everything looks really bad right now, but we get a big flip. So a change in fortune where people like you and I, Brad, and the person that asked that question, probably everybody watching here, all of a sudden we're on top for a change because it's kind of looked the other way around for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've referred to 2022 being a golden year, and then I've referred to 2023 being a platinum year. So we're seeing some really incredible changes happening together. Like I said, guys, the old regime is over. We're just watching them die now. We're watching their pillars fall apart. They're trying to keep it up as much as they can, but they're straining under the pressure. And like I said, the white hats, the counter forces, have pretty much taken mostly everything over now. So I'm seeing that more and more through the readings that I'm doing. Janine, I'm seeing you're seeing that as well too. Yep. So very good. Excellent. Okay, let's go to another question here. Let me just go to, okay, here's one from Ruth Armstrong. Oregon Governor Kate Brown wants to make masks permanent by law and COVID passports to be implemented on March 8th. Should I move to Florida or Texas? And this is from Ruth Armstrong. Okay, guys, so please don't pop on video unless you have a question for Janine. I'm going to get you guys to do that in just a second. Go ahead, Janine.
So Ruth, just wait. Don't be moving just yet. Everything's going to do a flip even where you are. So we've got that flip card. And this is a patience and perseverance card. So we have to persevere through these fear-mongering sort of things that they're putting out there, because the person that even said that, I think, is going to face some kind of justice. Crimes against humanity, stuff like that.
The Oregon governor.
Yeah, people that are pushing these kind of mandates, and they're actually, they're likely deep state. You know, they're bought into the whole, the bad guys, let's say. Because I'm going to be careful just in case. I don't want to. I know Brad is magic, but
I just call it the dark forces. So yeah, they're being dark forced. So yeah, there's still some dark forces in the governments, but they're being weeded out bit by bit. Some of them may also be, again, body doubles. Some of them may be duplicates. Some of them may be doppelgangers. Right. So again, they're just playing a role. It's all just a life movie, guys. Right. Just a life movie that's playing itself out. And then at some particular point, the flip happens. It's kind of like I said, there's actors on the stage, and then at some point the curtain's going to be pulling out. And now we're seeing everything of what's happened behind the scenes. And then those actors are going to look behind them and say, oh my God. And they start bolting off the stage. Right. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of great changes taking place here. So thank you again, Ruth, for your question. This one here is from Anna White. Anna says, when will we see the first concrete sign of something positive to confirm that humanity is winning? We are all struggling. All right. Not really. I'm not struggling at all, but there's a lot of people who are seeing this time right now. So some people are struggling, but many people who I'm talking to, no, they're seeing these signs happen. So
yeah, I see it. It's all in how your perspective is, and looking for what is good and changing, and not just assuming that we're still struggling. Sometimes we've got to catch up to where we actually are. Okay, it'll have something to do with the Queen, I think. For the people that really do see it as a struggle right now, I think when the official announcement of, because I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me on this, Brad, the Queen's kind of long gone.
For quite a while, yeah.
Right, yeah. But when the official announcement, somehow I think that seems to start everything, or things are already more out in the open by then. So if they want that kind of an official timeline, I think it'll be an announcement that concerns the Queen, or a really powerful woman that's on line with her. So there's not too many women that would bring that card up in. But it's a bad. The Empress is usually a really good, loving, wonderful sort of motherly card, but not if it's badly aspected with this. Is sort of a controller card, right? So this has been my deep state or dark cult, or the dark ones, or whatever you're calling it, Brad. Okay, it's been that for me. So the woman that's really at the top of that, I'm thinking for the minions on Earth, it would be the Queen of England.
Are they white hat now, like the royal family? Are they turning to the white hat side, or are they still kind of?
Well, some of them might have been. Like, I'm thinking Harry might have pulled over, but I don't think the Queen did. She might have made deals, though, to try to keep. Maybe she's trying to keep Prince William and Catherine going forward as actual royalty, but I don't think that'll survive. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that now. If the royal family has switched, if they turned sides in that way, but it could be kind of convoluted within that pool.
Maybe just to survive, right?
They kind of see the writing on the wall. They see where things are going, and they're trying to do to save their own butts, really. So.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Sandra. Will Vancouver, BC be in a lockdown? preventing people to go grocery shopping if unvaxxed? It's an interesting question, Sandra. Thank you.
Yeah, we're worried about that here in Alberta as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few places in Canada that are concerned. I don't feel it coming, but we'll see what the cards say.
So before that happens, we step away from the whole thing. So they might be making noise about it, and they're going to put dates on it. Like there's dates far away because the puppets, it's almost like there's this shadow government puppeting these people that are like fill-ins for the real people. I think a lot of these people have been rounded up.
Yes, I agree.
And there might even be a military thing going on before that ever happens. So possibly stepping forward, military, stepping out of the shadows, the good military, that's my good military. Yep. There could be an action before that it looks like it steps it away. So it doesn't get to that, but they'll make noise like it will, for sure.
Absolutely. Very good. We have one here from our YouTube chat here. This is from Big Shell. He asks, is our Saskatchewan Premier, Mr. Moe, on the take from the Black Hats, or is Premier Moe working with the Alliance? So basically, I guess the Premier of Saskatchewan, if he's working with the Black Hats or the White Hats.
Oh, he was absolutely a bad guy in the beginning. But there's some kind of flip happened with him, and it was out of desperation. So he's been sort of taken over by white hats, we'll say. And I don't even know if that's really him you're looking at, because I feel like there's a cover up of some kind. So you may be thinking you're looking at the real him, but it could be like
the doppelganger.
What you were saying, Brad. Yeah, it could be that. But he was definitely a bad guy, but I think he's just being used or puppeted.
How about Trudeau, Justin Trudeau? Because I know there's been a lot of people talking that he's had an ankle bracelet on him last year. A lot of people seeing him walking around with an ankle bracelet and saying, well, I guess this guy's already been, handled in that way. And maybe he's just playing a part out right now. What's the situation with Justin Castro in regards to his situation? Which I call him, or just Justin Castro. So,
yeah. Okay, so he's actually moved somewhere at this point. So he was on lockdown. He's absolutely not, you can't do anything with that whole family. He's absolutely the dark hats or the black hats or whatever. He's definitely a bad guy, but he's now on some kind of, you're not seeing the real him. I think he's been moved somewhere. So he used to be on house arrest, but now I think he's actually being held somewhere. So he's being kept.
Yeah.
Being kept somewhere. And he may be soon to be off the earth plane. So they might be processing
him. Yeah. That's usually how it goes. So, yeah. Right, exactly. How about Joe Biden? Is it the same thing with him? Because I know Biden's definitely a duplicate.
Yeah, that's absolutely happened quite a while ago. And I'm not sure if Biden has been processed yet or not. Let me just have a quick look here.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
See what I get. Because sometimes you got to, you got to keep up with these things. Not yet. So they're still getting info out of him, but he's got it pretty rough. He's not liking it at all. And yeah, they've held him for quite a while. Like I think months, like months and months. August, maybe since August, he's been locked down. So maybe even sooner, it says. Yeah. So he's maybe even going through trial, because this is like, we'll hear information about that really soon. I feel like he might be facing his trial really soon. Yeah, but he's not processed yet.
Great, excellent. Well, we're moving into a cosmic question right now. So this one is from Clarissa. Clarissa says, is Nibiru here now? And most importantly, is she really Tiamat? So basically Nibiru would represent this kind of rogue planet that people talk about, right? And they're just wondering if there's a planet that's coming into our solar system that represents this kind of ancient planet. Basically the ancient Sumerians talked about it, the idea of Nibiru, or if it's Tiamat. But let's see, I guess we can see what the cards say about that.
I wonder if there's been fighting over the planet, or the fighting kept it from manifesting. because something's kept it or held it up. And these are hold up cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if it's even able to be there, but not seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going in blind here because I haven't heard about this planet yet.
Yes, exactly. I've talked about it a little bit in the past. Basically what's happening, there's a very large galactic armada that's around our star system right now, but they're all veiled in different dimensions. Now, basically what happens when a lot of the elites die off, their souls are being taken by these ships, and they're basically angelic ships. And their souls are actually being taken to different dimensions, and they're going to go to other planets, and they're going to go to other schools, and they're going to do re-education there. So this is the explanation where a lot of people feel like they're being taken off the planet right now. Their physical body dies, but their soul is being taken somewhere else, and they're going to have another re-education on another world.
Right. Because energy never dies. So you got to work with it. You got to deal with it.
We could call it the soul spa.
Okay, awesome.
Soul spa.
That's the outcome of the question. So it's coming when it's safe. So there's still something to happen here that they'll feel safe enough to manifest physically, so we can see them, is what I'm kind of picking up here.
Exactly. It's kind of too soon for humanity to really look at that, because that's something that's way beyond our normal day, you could say. Yeah. Okay, let's go down the questions here a bit more. Okay, something about Alberta's tip doctor is suggesting as of today, Christmas for the UNV''D. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, the unvaxxed, okay. So Alberta's tip doctor is suggesting as of today for Christmas for the unvaxxed in Alberta will be disallowed from group celebrations. Is she part of the deep state, and will this fall apart?
So she looks like she's on the good side. So that's interesting. So that feels like fear mongering. That feels like they're trying to get everybody so backed up against the wall. So they've been working on that for a really long time with all of those take the lockdown and all the kind of things away, and then put it back on even double strong. And it's almost like messing with our minds. But I think it's literally a program to unprogram the programmed. They're using the same techniques as the bad guys to work on these people so they actually wake up. That's what I've been getting.
Yeah. They're lighting fires under people.
Yeah. And I feel like people likely largely already were talking about that anyway. My whole family is planning Christmas without me. Because I'm, me and a very small group of the unvaxxed or whatever. Yeah. So I feel like this will all go away, like I said, because that's coming into the light again. By the time the new year's here, there's a bunch of shifts coming in December is what I figure. It'll change all of those narratives.
Exactly. Yeah. A big shift is coming definitely in the new year.
Yeah.
Here's one from Anna. Anna says, when can we travel worldwide without masks or testing or vaccine passes and quarantines where we can travel 100% free with no restrictions attached? That's another good question, Anna. Yes.
A great question.
It is coming soon. Very, very soon.
Yeah. I'm getting by the time it's lifted everywhere, but there could be places already lifting or different airlines and that sort of thing, would be February.
I get that too. Yeah. Yeah. I've been talking a lot about February, March. Like I basically have given a deadline and saying COVID will be pretty much finished before the end of April 2022. So it's ready to go down right now. There's also talk about in Canada that they're trying to do plant-based vaccinations. They're trying to make like this plant-based stuff. So I'm not too sure if that may be white hat in that particular way. With plant-based vaccinations, they're also doing the pill as well too, the anti-COVID pill, which is just another cover for ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but they're basically rolling this pill out, and that's getting a lot of press already. So I think what's going to happen in the future is if somebody does in that sense have a situation, they just basically get this pill and it's taken care of. There's no need to lock anything down. Yeah. Great. Let's go to a question here on YouTube from Patricia Ann. Question, is there any truth to the feud occurring between General Flynn and Lynn Wood? A feud between General Flynn and Lynn Wood.
Okay, that's, I'm thinking all a bunch of BS.
Bunch of garbage, yeah.
Yeah, I think that those two come up as, so this is General Flynn. So there's truth and honesty here. And this is Lynn Wood, who's a real warrior. And he's even coming up younger than General Flynn, but his energy is pretty youthful as far as I'm concerned. So it feels like, no, these guys are in good standing, but I have a feeling this is a bit of a charade. I think it's a diversion to keep everybody, you know, focused in a way over here while something else is going on over here. I feel like it's almost entertainment.
It is very much entertainment, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, it's all just, again, a drama, a movie we're seeing right now. Yeah. Here's one from Salesh. Salesh says, Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, is he a dark hat? I think you did a reading on him not too long ago.
I think, yeah. I can't remember what I said, so this will be
okay. It's an update.
I'm funny because I just stay in the moment there. And
well, that's how I am too. I just say something, I completely forget what I say. I have to go back to my video and look at it.
Yeah. 10 and okay, so he's not the guy you're seeing. Okay, so that the guy you're seeing is not him. Okay. And actually, if you look closely at the guy you're seeing, it doesn't actually look like him, even though vaguely it does. And it would be easy to characterize that guy with that crazy hair and stuff. But I had a look at him recently, and literally that hair that he's wearing is a wig. So that's interesting.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, so they somehow created a wig to look just like his hair. It's crazy. Okay, he's traveled somewhere, and he's in lockdown, just like Mr. Trudeau is. And he's not liking it at all, by the way. So he must be a black hat. But I feel like he went back and forth, but then he kind of screwed up basically at some point. That's what I remember saying in the past. So he was going back and forth, being puppeted, and then maybe he got pulled in and retweaked at that time when he got ill, remember? They might have got him back on board with the black hats, send him out there, and he started doing their bidding, and that's when the white hats might have grabbed him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that explains it. So, like, a lot of these people, their former selves, in that sense, were all just stooges. Really, they're just kind of like, just tell me what to do. Right? I got the ear pierce in my ear. What do you need me to do? Blah 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 blah. Feeding me lines. So this again is why they're all being taken out. Like I said, pretty much all the big names right now, Trudeau and Boris Johnson and Biden, all that stuff, they're all just puppets, actors, really. Which is kind of interesting because Justin Trudeau had a background of being an actor. So there you go. Fits the part. Okay, let's go down here a bit more. Okay, here's one from Cindy. Is spike protein shedding real? Everyone talks about taking pine needle tea. Is this something that the unvaxxed people have to take consciously for protection? And thank you, Cindy, for your question.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to, I could get really unpopular here, but I get a lot of the fear around the shedding is made up.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like it's made up by the good guys or put out there because they're trying to keep you away from, there are booby trap batches or bad batches or things that weren't intercepted by the good guys. We know there's so many different theories, like certain batches that they purposely made, 1, 2, and 3 batch, right? And so depending on which one you got, so some of it could be real, but the actual talk about the spike proteins doesn't look real to me. Feels like this is innuendos and gossipy kind of card. And this is clarity's going to come out about that really soon. So that's going to be really good to hear. I feel like as much fear is being pumped out about how bad they are as is, and I'm not saying there aren't people having trouble, there is for sure, but it's being largely exaggerated, just like the other BS stories about how bad the variants are and all that. That's all hugely exaggerated. They're both doing it on both sides.
Exactly. I've also talked about the idea that germ theory is a myth. right? That we really don't have germ theory. It's all sympathetic resonance, right? So we basically have, I mean, if you look at our bodies, we have trillions of bacteria and viruses and pathogens and all that. And this is all emotionally activated, right? So when you guys are getting a little carried away with the idea of proteins, spike proteins, and all this stuff, so all this is happening in this. And if I just breathe near a person, they don't get it. No, guys, there's no such thing as germ theory, right? It's bunk. So this is why I say, unless you're actually like injecting something into somebody, then that's when there's problems. But other than that, if you're just breathing someone else's air, no, guys, we've been doing that for millions of years. Yeah. And that's not how human beings get sick. It's injections, it's invaders that come into the body. Yeah. Right. Very good. Okay, thank you, Cindy, for your question. Let me just go down the list here a bit more. Here's a funny question here from The Simpsons. This is from Kenneth Weirden. Are The Simpsons under white hat control? And how long has that been the case, the show of The Simpsons? If they've been under white hat, because a lot of people have theorized that there's been some intel that The Simpsons have been sharing here and there. Yep. And is there a white hat influence there?
Yeah, it does look like they are being influenced or have been for many years.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, for many years. And they started out bad guys, though.
Yep, that's true.
I feel like they got taken over at some point by the good guys. And then the narrative changed. And now they're showing the good guy. Somehow the good guys are deciding what they're going to put out, or at
getting some new writers. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point. So they started out the bad guys, because we know all of Hollywood and places that would even create sort of cartoons like that. I guess you would call it a cartoon, although it's not very funny sometimes.
It can be, yeah. Right? There's some interesting takes they do with that.
All of that stuff that goes out there, as so much of it was bad guy op at the beginning, to almost like get us all ready for what was coming in an unconscious way, and also getting us agreeing with things without realizing, by watching and going, okay, and setting aside our common sense while we're watching it and going, okay, that could happen. It's almost like programming us ahead of time.
Yes. Yeah. There's been quite a few shows like that as well, too, that are kind of just dropping the hat. Like before 9/11 happened, you had quite a few shows talking about the Twin Towers, about all that before it took place. So again, that was all dark hat,
that's right,
cabal energy there as well, too. So very good. Let's move on to Katarina's question here. Can you ask about Governor DeSantis of Florida? He is doing an amazing job of freedom. How's he doing? How's things with him?
Well, that's interesting, because he looks like he's been a bad guy for some. He was a bad guy, then a good guy. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. He got switched over to the good guys at some point.
Yep.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it was against his will. I feel like he started thinking the bad guys were, he started letting go of, he saw a lot of people getting rounded up in the background, and he saw the dysfunction of what he was involved in. So he might not have been fully, on the bad guys team once he knew what they were actually up to. So once he found that out, we got to surrender. And then he moved over to the good guys, and he's been trying to make up for it ever since.
Oh, great. Excellent. That's usually how they start off. They usually start off as the dark forces, and then they turncoat, and then they go onto the other side. And that's where we start seeing these incredible changes taking place. Because a lot of the quote unquote white hats have been a part of the dark cults. They know their system, they know their routine. And this is why they're basically just taking a lot of their tactics and throwing it back at the dark forces, right? So it's just saying, well, this is what you've done to the people, so now we're throwing it right back to you. It's that equivalent exchange, it's that rebound. So
yeah,
very good. Excellent. Okay, I go down here a bit more. This is from Thomas. Has 5G radiation been used by the dark hats to cause symptoms attributed to COVID-19?
So that was the original plan. But it's since been taken and switched into something healthy and positive.
Excellent. I'm getting that too. I did something on 5G. It said the exact same thing. Yeah, the 5G towers, their entire infrastructure has been seized by the white hats. So they're going to start use that for something very positive. It can be used for benefit as well too. It can actually be used for extreme high frequencies and actually start to sanitize a lot of the environment as well too. Yeah. So there's everything that really comes out in regards to technology has two sides to it. It can be used for great good, or it can be used as weaponized, right? So because the dark cats are falling away, a lot of that weaponized technology isn't going to exist. Now it's going to be used to benefit. The same thing goes with HARP. The same thing goes with CERN, the idea of the Great Hadron Collider as well too. A lot of things are going to start moving forward here. So another confirmation I got. So very good. Awesome. Let's go here to, okay, I have NM just keep asking the same question here. Question for Janine and Brad. Why can't I move? When and where do you think we see where I will move? I guess he's looking to move somewhere else. Thank you. He's just been posting this question multiply. So guys, I try not to ask too many personal questions. Let's try and keep it semi-personal in general, just so that everybody can benefit from your question, okay? But we'll take this one this time, okay? So why can't I move? When and where do you see I will move? All right, thank you, NM.
Okay, I think he has to change what he's saying and how he's thinking about it.
Right.
So even the question, the way it's framed, if you were my client right now and you were in, I might give you a little Janine spanking. Okay, you got to use more positive language, like, why can't I move? Okay, how about universe, when's the best time? And draw to you with what you're speaking about. If you're wishing to move, just ask the universe, the perfect time and situation and place will come. Start talking about it as if it's already coming. I will move when it's perfect timing for me, and I'll know exactly where to move. Something like that. Say that daily every time you get fearful about it, because it's actually how you're feeling and thinking that's holding it up. So that's thoughts and words, swords, thoughts and words coming between you and your plan to move. So if you have an underlying fear that you can't move and something's blocking you, that's what's stopping the move right there.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. So use your language, your magic, your words, your attention in a positive way, as if, like, fake it till you make it, as if you're going to move. That's a matter of when the universe thinks it's perfect timing, and that you're open to that, and speak about it like that.
Absolutely. And NM, you're a regular on my channel, so I'm going to give you a Brad spanking right now. Okay, so you know about the 5-minute focus. You know about working with the 5-minute focus and just seeing the result of where you are. Where do you want to be? Who do you feel you are? And you're moving into that manifestation. That is what you're making reality to be. You're getting very emotional about it. You're getting excited as if it's happening right now. And now, before you know it, you finish that meditation. Now all these things start flowing into your reality. You get opportunities galore because you're already seeing the end result of where you know you want to be. By saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're just being stagnant, right? So don't make me come over to your home and give you a big spanking, right? You know better, okay? So anyways, that's what you do, right? See it as already happening and support it and get behind it completely. So yes, thank you, NM, and thank you, Janine, for taking his question. Okay, here's one from about 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐿, okay? So Shay asks, will there be an emergency broadcast? And will there also be 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐿 by this Christmas? So emergency broadcast system announcement and the idea of 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐿 before this Christmas.
So that's definitely the plan. So they check in with it daily, though, and that's a work in progress. And even the universe doesn't want to say for sure. It's going to depend on some things. But going forward in December, that's the plan. So if everything goes according to plan, we'll see certainly the emergency broadcast, and the money system would have already changed sometime in December. That has to come first, it looks like. Then the emergency broadcast shortly after. Feels like they go hand in hand, actually. So I just saw 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐿. Well, that could be this card. I think that'll eventually be more official. Maybe we won't be using those words officially to even the normies, possibly, but I think it'll have actually rolled out already, but we're actually maybe not mainstream speaking about it. Do you get what channels like this already know it's coming.
Yes.
We already know it's going to manifest, maybe not exactly by the book, what you were taught it was all about. You know what I mean? Like there's there's going to be a variation of it that's going to be really beneficial to humanity. But people get too hooked up on actually literally going by the book, 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐽 𝐑𝐞𝐚𝐝. And that's where I get, the universe is more creative. There's going to be a creative way that rolls out, and humanity will be paid back. As always comes, you always get back 7 times what was taken away from you. Like you will manifest, like everything that ever happened to me that was really tough is more than made up for by the beauty that happens and what comes my way. So you'll be made up to, trust me, and in the coming years. But it may not all of a sudden we're in 𝐓𝐚 𝐫𝐽, everybody all over the world. So that I don't want to misquote, but I think by the end of December, a lot of this comes into our focus for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. The wealth of the planet is going to return to the people. And I've always said in my broadcast, I said, I don't really know about a 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐽 thing, but it's going to be something similar to that. Yeah. There's going to be prosperity funding. I can never, ever put it to that exact. And that's, like you said, the universe is creative. So it's always going to surprise us and saying, oh, well, hey, this is something else. I thought it was 𝐓𝐚𝐫𝐽, but it was actually this instead. Yeah. What I'm getting is it's something even better than those concepts. Yeah. Right. So it's something that's even greater.
They were just their intellectual ideas about how somebody, they get the feeling or the insight intuitively, and then they write a big book about it or they talk about it and now they name it. Okay. But the universe is really creative, and it has a way that it'll creatively pay everybody back for wrongs done. It's just how the universe works.
The universe gives us exactly what we need, not what we want. Right. And that's the best thing. Right. When we get what we need, it's even greater than what we think we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so let's go to YouTube here. This is for Courtney. Courtney has a question. Courtney says, will humanity soon learn the secrets held in the Vatican's vaults? Vatican, again, has a lot of information stashed in its vaults. Will humanity know about these secrets here very soon from the Vatican?
Hang on. Yeah, I'm on a Zoom, Cash. My son.
No worries.
Okay.
We're on a very popular Zoom call, so yes.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, all kinds of things coming out, and a lot of them have already made their way out. So there's a lot of leaks already out there of secrets that were held, because we know that's been cleaned out. The Vatican's they've gone in and cleaned it out. So I think stuff's going to leak out over months and months. I don't think it'll suddenly. I think it'll take months and months to get all the information out. But even within 1 year time, we'll be a lot closer to it being available with that world card. We go on to a whole nother level of knowing just about everything, and all of the things held back from us, our real history. Like, it's going to be fascinating.
Absolutely. It's all coming down the pipe. This is from George Cunningham. He says, a very popular social commentator stated that cryptocurrency will be compromised and controlled by dark elements. Do you see this happening? So while Janine gets the cards ready, guys, you have to use some tact here, right? You already get an idea about where the signposts are taking you, right? So you kind of already know what the answer is going to be in the times ahead. So just be mindful about what Janine is sharing, what I'm sharing with you guys. There's going to be more and more counterforce activity and less dark hat activity. And the dark hat activity that's there, it's just all about the idea of stirring the pot for a movie. Okay, that's all going to die out. So anyways, let's see what the cards say.
Okay, some go forward and some stay back. So when everything reshuffles with the financial system, which is every day, we're hours away from a huge reshuffling. I mean, yes. It's already happening on the back channels, but this says some of them have been connected maybe by dark forces, and then some of them have been created with good. So I have a feeling, depending on who's backing them, what are they actually backed by? There's going to be some that go forward into the new system and work together with the new system, and some that just don't make it into the new system. So a lot of them will drop by the wayside.
Exactly. It's all just a turning of the stones right now, guys. All the stones are being turned. And if you're corrupt, you're not going to make it. And if you're pure and if you're ethical and you're moving much more into the favor of the people and society and the world altogether, you're going to soar, right? That's really where we're going. That's the momentum of things right now. It's just it's a cleaning out of the entire planet right now. We're going through a gigantic worldwide cleanup. So we're getting all the filth and debris out of the way altogether. Okay, we have one here from another YouTube question. Martine says, is the New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern going to turn white hat? Jacinda Ardern, I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Yeah, if she's going to turn white hat.
Okay, so she's a he.
She's a he, okay.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of evidence of that. And we've got so that would be really hard because they feel like they're pretty bought into the whole, they're sitting on the fence with that. I feel like they might even be rounded up, actually, to be honest. Looking at that devil right after it, this feels like they're in holding already. So I wonder if they're also using CGI and or a new person in their place, a doppelganger, or whatever they're doing. I feel like they're already decidedly not going to with that card, and they're being held because of it. So I'm going to go with no by the time that finished that layout.
Yeah, exactly. And if she can't, or he or she can't stay that way, then basically they'll be removed and someone else will come in his place.
We might be giving them an opportunity to come around and rat out some people and speak. But I feel like that person's been rounded up. So they're being puppeted. So whatever they're doing and all these, the reason they're pushing things so hard that makes no sense. The dark hats never did things like that. They went really slowly. They had a plan and everything's been pushed in the fast lane by the white hats, shadow governing, just like the dark deep state shadow governed and took over all the upper echelons of any kind of power in the whole world. Okay, so the white hats slowly worked their way into a lot of those places. And now they're the shadow government. This is what's happening. So they're pushing the agendas to get everybody to wake up. And they're in particular seems to be doing it the hardest in Australia. And of course, Austria, maybe a close second. Like there's a few pockets of places, Canada even, they're pushing the agendas a lot faster than normally would have done because they're a little sneakier than that. Those bad guys, they wouldn't have got away with it. They're not getting away with it because people are waking up en masse because it's so ludicrous what they're putting through, especially what that woman says. If you listen to anything she says, she couldn't possibly be anybody. But like for them to even present her that way, she's got to be a real black hat.
Yeah. It's all staged acting once again as well. Here's a question here from Bruce Mort. Bruce says, will the IRS be disbanded next year? A lot of us retired folks have our wealth tied up in retirement accounts. We want to put our wealth out, but if the withdrawal exceeds IRS limits, the tax folks want their share, especially with Brandon hiring 87,000 new tax folks. Makes things a little intimidating. Thanks, Brad and Janine. Blessings to both of you. Thank you.
Okay, so the IRS is in really big trouble. I don't even know if it still exists. That's sort of a death card in a way. And then we've got this, is badly aspected here. So it's in really bad shape. So you know that whole corporation that it belongs to is bankrupt. So those kind of cards would show that they have no oomph for energy. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not trying to say, trying to tell somebody to do or not do their taxes or deal with that a certain way. I'm just reading the cards on it. So just saying. Okay, so it's all really up in the air right now. And it's going to be a very different operation when everything's done, because this is a unique and different operation. I'd say, according to the cards advice, okay, you want to just wait and see on that, because it's literally in a death fall, it looks like. And how it actually recreates itself won't look anything like what it looks like now. So I wouldn't do anything right now. I just wait and watch.
Indeed. And again, guys, as we may know, the IRS is a Puerto Rican trust, right? That's all it is. So all of that is going to pretty much burst into flames here in the next little while. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. Like I said, there will be a dividing of the wealth around the earth, especially within the next couple of years as well.
It might be good to note that people, the more they learn about things like that, if they do get dragged into court over something, they can just bring all of that up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, let's talk about who really owns it. Let's talk about how illegal it's been for how many years. Let's talk about, that's absolutely what I'm planning on doing.
Exactly. There's been a lot of people that have been waiting for their court cases to get going with that as well.
Yeah, don't be afraid of them.
So now the time is coming for that to happen. So actually, I have a question here we can ask the cards as well, too. We could ask again about the Star Federation, about the galactics that are around here on the Earth right now. And is it true that they are, in that sense, waiting to collect a lot of these souls that are, again, they're going to take out of here, go into another dimension, and then there will be a re-education for those souls, particularly those ones who have been in the dark forces for quite some time.
Yeah, they'll definitely be traveling somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Very unique. So off-world, maybe.
Yep. Yep.
So unique. And the Two of Cups, so this is interesting. Like they're karmically necessary. So the dark forces were necessary for us to learn this big lesson. We're karmically tied with those energies. So seeing it all the way through to re-education makes a lot of sense, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all part of the Kundalini, everybody, right? You have to raise the serpents. You have to move yourself into Kundalini awakening, because again, the darkness teaches all these things. It's teaching us, hey, let go of me so you can move into the light.
Yeah.
We scare ourselves back into the light. That's what we do.
Yeah, we can evolve because they pushed us in the corner, and like they enslaving us like that taught us, and going through that whole lesson is going to teach us never to ever get in a position like that again with another entities, that don't have our best interest at heart. And maybe we'll be braver, less like sheep, and maybe understand our magic more, the magic of our thoughts, words, and how really powerful we are as inventors. And, we create our destiny as we go. But a lot of people did not know that.
Oh, Janine, did you see my video where I was talking about extraterrestrial exodus, right? Where they're actually seeing ships leaving Boston, Massachusetts. They had all these ships leaving the city and flying up in the sky and actually leaving and vacating the entire planet. So basically what's happening right now is that we've always had these kind of invisible disruptors, right? They've basically been ETs, and they exist just in the background. They're in dimensional veils. And they are the ones that basically try to antagonize separation-based consciousness with a lot of people. So a lot of it is psychic attacks, telepathic attacks that these disruptors would do. And they would just cause people to not even think their own thoughts, right? It's just basically that they're getting angry for no reason. And I was telling people as well, too, if you get angry for no reason, odds are you're probably being disrupted, right? Yeah. If you're being sad or fearful for no reason, then by means you're probably getting disrupted. So the good news is a lot of that is being taken out. So I've referred to beings known as the human guardians and the cosmic administration. There are human guardians that actually live on the moon. They're us from what we refer to as like a great distant future or another universe. And they're actually the ones that are giving a lot of this intel to a lot of the ground crew counterforces. They always meet at Cheyenne Mountain. That's their stronghold. That's where the ETs are usually meeting up together with the humans and say, okay, here's the next step, right? We've looked at looking glass technology. Here's where we're seeing the projections. Here's where you guys need to dedicate your energy. And here's the plan of what you guys need to do. So basically the top of the pyramid would be these galactics, or what I refer to as the human guardians. So some extra information there as well too, pertaining to these old disruptors. The good news is they're being booted out. They're being taken out of here, and they were in the millions. They were just everywhere. So they're all being flushed out right now. So there's a gigantic cleaning, not only for us on the ground crew level of the counterforces, but also the cosmic counterforces are taking a lot of these harsh beings out of here. So like I said, next couple of years, we're looking at a very fresh new Earth. You must have been talking about what I was getting it as. The hermit card kept coming up, but it felt like an off-world hermit. So a wise, even a future wisdom of ours that was kind of manifesting as these off-worlders, but they might guardianship. The humans, yeah. So I guess that's what you just described. What I was trying to describe, I didn't know how to describe. Oh no, you can call them that, because I looked into these beings as well too. They're very, very beautiful beings. But they're us. They're just like looking at us if you were like 5,000, 10,000 years evolved. And they're long living human beings as well too. They would be like around 4,000, 5,000 years old, kind of like the beings I was talking about. So they're just kind of running things right now, and they're stationed on the moon. So they have old extraterrestrial technology used by their aggressives. And one of those technologies is referred to as looking glass technology. Right. So basically looking glass technology is what you can see is kind of like a portal technology. We're using like an artificial pineal gland There are different versions of them. There's other ones you could actually step into different dimensions and actually look like as if you're time traveling, but not quite. But there's other ones where they can actually see through a looking glass and see all these things that are coming through the idea of thought provoking. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. They have a lot of toys and tools that were once used by the regressives because the moon itself is just a laboratory. It was a laboratory, and it was kind of like a weaponization platform to basically bombard the earth with a lot of these frequencies that basically caused this disruption. It's kind of like seeing white noise in the middle of a broadcast. It's just like, right? It's just interrupting all these things. So we're seeing that getting dismantled at the same time. So a lot of stuff is happening both locally here with what we're going through and cosmically at the same time, as above, so below.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of juicy stuff.
I'm going to start calling them that then.
Yeah, human guardians. Yeah, you can look into the human guardians as well. So you could even do a reading on them right now if you wanted to. You could. I
got a name for them now. That's awesome. Okay.
That's great. Yeah, we could look into the human guardians, about them being on the moon and helping to organize and facilitate a lot of this change taking place right now.
So we got the moon card, but it's well aspected. So on the moon, so looking at them on the moon, let's do that. We're looking at them on the moon.
Yep.
They waited a really long time for this.
Oh, yes.
They've been waiting, and they weren't able to step in until certain things happened. Exactly. So they were held up from stepping in, and then they could come forward. There was like the timing had to be perfect. People had to be a certain % ready or something. Right. There had to be a readiness. They were sad for a long time watching the suffering here.
Yeah, their own people.
That's in the past. And there's still a little leery, it looks like, of disruption when things start really getting obvious to even the normies, as we call them.
Yeah,
it could get a little disruptive. So they're kind of hovering almost like mama bears.
Yeah, exactly. They know that this is, again, a process that's ensuing. So they're knowing that the work is being done. They want to see a lot more happen in that way. So this is why they're basically pushing. They're basically telling the ground crew, really, really push these agendas about people feeling like their rights are being taken away, because this is what's going to wake people up so much, right? It's going to get people to wake up and say, no, we're not going to stand for this anymore. To heck with the governments. We're going to move forward here. So that's great. That's exactly what I've been getting about them as well too. So excellent. Great synchronicity. Okay, let's go down to, did you have something else, Jenny? Was there anything else, sir?
No.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
No, I agree. Sure. Totally.
Yes. So now you have a name to call them, human guardians.
Yeah, awesome.
Here's one from Mira. A question: the universe has brought both you, Janine, and Brad together. Will you have a show in the very near future? I don't know. Maybe we could talk about that. Maybe I'll pop on with Jean-Claude and you sometime.
Oh, yeah.
We could have a lot of good stuff to talk about.
I'll totally bring that up. Jean-Claude's awesome. He's a really good host.
He's a good guy. Yeah, absolutely.
You and I, hosted by Jean-Claude, would probably get a lot of information out there too.
Oh, yes. I'd be happy to. If you guys ever want me on the broadcast, just give it the word.
Right on.
So here's another one from George B. What will happen to people in the new earth if they are carrying the old wounds of hate and jealousy? So people, again, that are moving forward and they're still feeling like they're having difficult times, hatred, jealousy, anger, what may happen to them?
So people in the old vibration, is that what you mean?
Yeah, basically people who are, I guess from what he's saying is that people who are in the new earth who are moving forward, if they feel like they all of a sudden get wounds of hate and jealousy. Well, I could probably say something, but I'll let the cards speak first and then maybe I can follow up. So I guess that's what he's asking, is people who are moving forward and saying, yeah, we're able to get out of this stuff, but there's still some hatred and jealousy that I'm going through. How would they act?
It feels like it just holds you up from manifesting.
Yep.
So it'll personally affect your own life and how you manifest, which I believe it does anyway. It has been like that anyway, right? It'll just hold you up and set you back. It's like going back to kindergarten for, some years or months, depending on how quick you catch on. Like it just won't work in the new world.
Yes.
It'll be like spinning your tires. You're not going to get anywhere. Whereas in the other world we're coming from, the collapsing world, think about it. You could be a real demonic, evil and doing everything like against humanity and still get ahead, at least financially. Maybe you wouldn't feel good inside yourself, whatever, because I'm not doing that, so I don't know how that feels. Exactly. But demonics got ahead, at least monetarily. So I don't think that'll happen in the new world, though. It feels like it'll hold everything up for you.
Yeah.
Until you'll have to learn.
I agree. So really, George, where we're going is we're moving into a heart-centered civilization. If you're still in hate, and if you're still in jealousy, and if you're still in revengeful tactics in that sense, you're not going to move up, right? You're going to still stay down in regards to the dirt pile with the people that, again, have tried to use monetary and material possessions to try and feel like they're going to move up. They can't. You have to embrace the heart, right? So when you embrace the heart, George, from someone who's speaking from personal experience, you don't have those feelings anymore, right? You've basically healed those feelings out of you. Like, I don't hate anybody. I'm not jealous of anybody anymore, because we do a lot of inner work. We do a lot of the deep inner work, and you just don't have that anymore. It's like those scars heal. It's like telling me, oh, go roll around in the dirt. Well, why would I want to do that when I'm up here on my mountain enjoying the view with God, right? You're not going to do that. So this is where, George, it becomes a little bit of a contradictory question. The people who are full of hate and jealousy are the ones that are basically being phased out. Either they change or they got to go, right? So again, it's kind of like that Titanic analogy I give. Like, people are just seeing the Titanic going right up in the air. They're holding on, and here you are on a rescue ship and saying, come on, just take my hand. No, the government's going to take care of me. I'm going to have them work with this. And then all of a sudden they're going down with the Titanic. Right, they're the violin players. They're just right here, and I'm in the Titanic. I'm playing my violin because the government's going to take care of me. And here they are, sinking ship, going right into the water. So again, George, it's kind of a catch-22 here, right? It's about moving past all that and coming to love. That's going to be, as I've said, the meek will inherit the earth. Yeah, that's where we're going, right? That's the new earth to come. Yep. So if you're not the meek, you're not going to be here. Simple as that.
That's so interesting, because when I was studying astrology, like 35, 40 years ago, long time ago, in my early 20s, I always got this time in history. And the big saying was, the meek shall inherit the earth.
That's it.
That's absolutely happening. We can see it. Like, people
we see it everywhere.
The have-nots are going to be the haves.
That's right.
Yep.
Right on the mark. Here's one from Katerina. Question, how about the situation in Argentina and Colombia? It's looking like there's a civil war there between the white hats and the black hats.
That's going on all over the world.
Of course. It's pretty much a worldwide phenomenon, Katerina, but I kind of get what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. 7, 10. So that's very soon to end, though, that big, what you're seeing, though, a lot of it's kind of play right now. Okay, so I feel like it's, all those things are maybe exaggerated, because this card is gossip and innuendos. And I feel like you're coming really close to, we've got 9s and 10s. So that means we're going to see an end to that, what appears like this big conflict. You're going to see an end, and things get a lot more healed and looking calmer. And this is also an off-world card. So I wonder if there's going to be a big experience with those human helpers. What did you call them again, Brad?
Human guardians.
Human guardians. Yep. I wonder if they're going to actually step in there somehow, because this is the next thing that happens. And this can be an off-world experience card, or having a real tangible experience with human guardians.
Yes, and that's quite possible, because South America is renowned for having a lot of different sightings, right? There's a lot of people that are seeing ET ships there every day, right? It's very, very common. So especially in a place like that, something like that could very likely happen. So very good. Thank you very much for your question there, Katerina. And here's Octavia with a question here. If there's one name left that we have to look into, what is the situation with Barack Obama? With Obama's situation.
I think he was taken a long time ago into custody of some kind. And that wasn't told to anybody. And I feel like he's going to be taken somewhere to be healed. kind of like what you were talking about, Brad, where they're taking people off somewhere, because as a tiny child, he was brought into this system that they created him. So the dark cult or the bad guys, whatever, they created him. Can I say cabal on this show?
For it. Go for it.
Oh, good. Okay, the cabal.
No rules here. It's all free.
They made him from a baby. He never stood a chance. He was passed around and MK altered from a tiny child, and satanically, ritually abused. And that's fairly well known, actually, about his background. And nothing about his real background or parents are true. None of it's true. It's all made up. He was a CIA plant, and CIA being obviously connected to all that stuff. So he's going to be, they're going to like people like that who didn't stand a chance from infanthood. I think they're going to try to work with them, give them some kind of reprogramming or healing or something like that.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel that too. So we got a constant question popping up here on the YouTube chat. Will the RV happen and when? This is happening quite a bit, the RV. I actually told a joke about this. Do you mean like the rotary vehicle? Like when I'm getting an RV, a motorhome? I don't know. Maybe I'll get it pretty soon. I'll see.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay, let's have a look. So that's been going on for a long time in secret. And it's likely already, it's just you're being withheld from. I think the thing itself, so the reset of these currencies is what I think they're talking about with saying RV reset. Okay, so they're resetting the amount of the currencies. I think actually in secret already happened. And there's some kind of, they're holding back on the information because there's some kind of inner fighting going on with the countries and or a potential issue with the countries' governments versus who's sort of in charge of resetting the currencies. So I'm not sure how it all works, but it's just how the cards are reading. There's some kind of fighting there, inner fighting that has to get sorted out before it can trickle down to, but it's absolutely coming. And this Three of Wands, it's a big part of what helps the world look really different in our very near future, even into the new year. Just into the new year is what I'm thinking.
I'm even seeing that a lot of the banks in North America are being taken over right now by the counterforce. I talked about CIBC not too long ago. I actually have an insider who was telling me about what was happening in CIBC as well too. Like everybody's being treated really well there. They're getting bonuses. They're getting all these gifts as well too. It's almost like a big apology and saying we're sorry we put you guys through this. Yeah. So yeah, we can see that the white hats are experiencing it. I think the fellow that I was talking to said, "Oh, I think I heard Janine talk about the same thing with RBC Royal Bank, that they may be the same thing as well too. The same thing with the white hats." Taking over them too. Yeah,
it was Scotia. I noticed a big difference, but Scotia, also ATB. Yeah, also a big difference and very interesting. Like a whole different vibe in the bank itself. Like it's not like the same organization anymore when you go in.
Yeah, I think most of the Canadian banks will be like that very soon. Yeah, I bank with TD right now, so. Yeah. It's still the same. I just go to the ATM and just take my stuff out when I need to. I don't really talk to anybody.
Right.
Okay, let's go back to the Zoom chat here. Okay, here's one from Anna. Anna says, is Canada still under the Commonwealth? Will visa, immigration process, and Schengen agreements be dissolved? Will we be able to move anywhere in the world with immigration and visa approvals?
It's already been dissolved and it's its own it's a whole different thing. Yep. So it's rebirthed itself as a whole different entity separate from, so I think the Commonwealth dissolved maybe a couple years ago when the Queen and the Royals capitulated. So when Mr. T went over there, and some people don't believe that, but I believe that to be true. So, but really he was just the front guy for the White Hat organization, or the alliance, what I call the alliance, was in the background, and they just used Mr. T to get in the door, obviously politically. Okay, but they brought all of this information they had against all of these countries, and they all capitulated. And that's when we started with the shadow governments moving in and puppeting these people.
Excellent.
They already knew that the bad guys were going to put out the illness, right, or the big pandemic. They already knew about all of that, so they planned their own counter moves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is making sure, without immigration and visa approvals, we may still have to have visas for a little bit longer, but I don't think it'll be too much longer. I think a lot of that stuff is going to be scrapped here in the next little while. But with certain permits and stuff like that, it may still have to happen transitionally. But
that looks like exactly like you said. You're going to have to wait on that because there's a whole bunch of negotiation going to happen, and we're going to be a big part of it. Okay, so we have to, we're going to create from the bottom up how that looks. So that's why we really need as many people awake as possible about what the governments have been up to, because we never want to repeat this or hand over our power again.
That's right. And we're not going to. That's a good thing. Once this is all over, people will become so much more wise. We'll have a lot of scars to heal, but we are going to become a lot smarter from this all together. Here's one from Hanan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hi, Brad and Janine. I recently moved to Morocco. I'm wondering, where are the King Mohammed VI, it's the sixth and his spouse, King Mohammed VI and his spouse in Morocco. All right.
Okay, they're rounded up.
Okay.
They're being held somewhere. And it actually feels, and this is going to sound interesting, but it sounds like what you were getting there, Brad, are telling us about off planet here with these.
There you go. Yeah, off worlders.
So they got taken somewhere with their entire whole group of people actually in their sort of circles.
They went to their soul spa.
That's right. You got it.
There's another word we can use together: soul spa. Soul spa and human guardians.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Let's go down here. Okay, I'm going to go to YouTube right now. Let me just see. Okay, here's one from Cynthia. What about Brazil? Our president fights against the whole system. I have a strong feeling we are part of this movie. By the way, the unique part, our president is beloved here, honestly. So yes, Brazil and the president. Okay.
Yeah, I think they are part of the movie. He's a good guy, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he looks like a good guy. And we've got the Two of Swords, but they're still playing along with some of the stuff. They're still playing along with some of the mandates and things like that. So chime in the comments if that's true or not. We've got surrender. So he was asked to play along with some of it. Just to keep the narrative up so the good guys could get done what they wanted to get done. Okay, so if you're seeing some really weird narratives going on there or mandates or lockdowns, that might have had something to do with that. I feel like eventually it's going to be one of the world's superpowers. Isn't that interesting?
That would be interesting.
I have a feeling a big change is coming for that area, and it could really, like this card really comes into itself. It's like a miniature world card. I feel like there's a whole bunch of energy there that hasn't been utilized. I'm getting it like stones and crystals. So it's sitting on this energy. So it's a vortex that's really positive, and it'll end up eventually being one of the world's superpowers, but not like in the old way where it was corrupt. You were a corrupt superpower just because you had lots of money and power. No, it's like literally has a lot of magic it's sitting on. And I have a feeling it'll be an area where a lot of very spiritual, powerful energy can come out of. So people will go there to recharge themselves.
Yeah, Brazil is very powerful, has a lot of good, strong energy behind it. So here's another one on YouTube from Ellie Mills. Ellie says, how is Britain doing? Are we being helped with the white hats? The government is out of control, stupid here. They're supposed to be, Ellie. That's all part of the plan, right? Governments are supposed to be out of control. That's the narrative they're playing. Yeah,
they're supposed to make you think they've gone absolutely nuts, which is absolutely what it looks like.
Yep. You know, that's the same thing with the whole world.
Yep, and if they didn't notice and they're still okay with their government, then you got a very foolish person on your hands, I'm afraid.
Exactly.
And they're going to need a bit of a spanking from Brad and I.
You and me both. We'll bring the pedals, right? So it's the same thing. It's like I said with the human guardians, right? They are telling, we want to try and get these situations to elevate so much that people think that the government is completely out of control. That's the point, guys. That's the life movie. That's the movie you're watching. We're almost at the credits roll, but we're still just watching the grand climax here, the final curtain, so to speak.
Yeah. So all of what we just said, I get is true. And they've been patiently waiting for the numbers to rise and people to get thinking more sovereign and independent. That's what that card's all about. So they're waiting on a certain number. And actually, it's more than you think. So even though you see a lot of people, I think it's just under the surface for a lot of people where they're really fed up with what they're seeing. And just something's just going to click. And then they'll wake up like that. It's because all of that other side, the other side, so the good guys programming is starting to work. So it's coming, it's almost like it filters in. And pretty soon, just one little thing that they do will click it. And it could even be this Christmas party that they've outed these freaky government out. So the UK government got outed that last year they had a secret big party, even though the whole nation was locked down and nobody else could do anything. Okay, they were partying it up without masks on and everything. So they're leaking out these things on purpose to get people to just do that click where they go, okay, that I've had it.
Yeah, what's going on here? Exactly.
We're being played, right? And a lot of the news stories are talking about that. So I think it's going to work. I think this year they're just not going to tolerate it.
Oh, I bet it. Yeah. Like I said, it's all just boiling over now. It's like a pressure cooker ready to explode.
That's the next
flower. There you go.
The next thing that happens. So they're pushing for this. So when they feel the energy on the planet ready to just flip like that, then the wheel of fortune's going to come and happen and everything gets flipped around. The money system all of a sudden flips. I mean, because it's ready to crash anyway. The dollar's going to crash. The fiat dollar's bankrupt. Like there's so many things pending and all just loading up here. It's just a crescendo coming.
Here's one from Suzanne. Ontario's Doug Ford is poised to win the next provincial election, according to the Star. Will Ontario get a new awake premier? Well, we know if it's on the Star, it has to be true.
Okay, if Doug Ford people actually vote for Doug Ford after what he's been up to, honestly, like there's no hope, honestly.
This is all for nothing. Exactly.
I know that's not true because I do have a lot of faith in humanity, so I just can't see it. That sounds like part of the movie. But let's have a look.
Yeah, be mindful about mainstream media and newspapers, guys. You guys know better than that.
Yeah,
come on.
They're trying to make you think, how outrageous is that? They're trying to make you go, what? That can't be true. Nobody I know likes.
There's more fire for the butt, right?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to,
exactly.
So we've got the Knight, and no, I'd say it's exactly the opposite. I'd say it's the real thing is nobody's going to vote for Doug Ford.
Yeah.
Okay, so that I think it's exactly the opposite. Also, I don't even get you're looking at real Doug Ford. I feel
another
like
duplicate.
Yeah, we got a fake there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was handled quite a while ago. Yeah.
Quite a while ago. Yeah, exactly. And we're going to, this will all start coming out, by the way. I mean, a lot of us already see it around, like I see the evidence, but I think it'll start becoming even more apparent here as the month goes on.
Exactly. And here's one from Sailesh. Sailesh says, a question, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, which side of the fence is he on? So it really comes down to two things, guys. It's either number one, they flip to the white hats, or number two, they're just being used right now, and then they'll be taken out, usually a duplicate or a body double of them. So really just come down to those two conclusions, guys. That's all that's happening with the world leaders right now. The world leaders are not really them.
It's exactly what you just said there.
Yeah.
He's being used.
Yeah.
So he was taken out quite a while ago.
Yeah. Especially in India. India will definitely have a very big turning with the white hats there as well too. So India is a big country. It's been looked over for quite a while now. So very good. Okay. One from NM here says, what will happen to our pension type of accounts with new financial systems, or will our pensions still be intact with the new financial system to come? I don't think you have to worry about pensions when you have prosperity funding in it. You're going to be set. You're going to be totally fine.
Yeah, there's something in place that you don't know about that's going to be better than the pension. So it'll like back everything up, but it won't be called a pension, is what I get. It's not going to be called that, because that's part of the old system. That's part of the corporation that's actually bankrupt and not even real anymore, right? So all of our old government systems, and in particular in the US, they were this corporation. Well, apparently all of us have been, right? So we all sold out to the Fed, right? Which isn't even, by the way, the word Fed or Federal Reserve is very deceiving, because it was never connected to, it was connected to the cabal bankers, right? So those guys are bankrupt. And so
I was going to ask that question as well too. Once you're done, I have a good question for you.
Yeah. Anyway, so it looks like it might not be called that, but you're not going to lose steam. You're only going to gain. So there's things in place underlying that you don't know about. Okay, you haven't been officially told about. Yeah, you're going to actually gain in the next year and not lose. So fear, let it go. Trust that you're going to be repaid. And every single day, talk about every day, I will be comfortable as I need to be here on the earth plane. I'm going to attract abundance. I am worthy, and I will be looked after here. And I'm also going to do good and look after when I have that opportunity.
Exactly. So the question I had is that there is rumor that Donald Trump basically has, Mr. T basically has possession of the Federal Reserve. That's basically in his hands right now, that he may be running things pertaining to the reserve. Let's see what the cards say about that.
If that's true, maybe at one time it might have been true, but it looks like we got this flip and good army. So we've got the good army has control of the Federal Reserve, and coupled with off-worlders. So we got our human helpers here. Galactic, I've forgotten already.
The Guardians, yeah, the human Guardians. Yep.
The Guardians, the human Guardians. Okay, that's hilarious. So
I think he may have held it for a certain time, and maybe he may have gave it over to somebody else after that.
Yeah, it's now being held, like it got flipped.
Yep.
And it's now in the hands of, so human guardians seem to be actually in charge of all the goods.
I've gotten confirmation of that too as well. So very good. That's good to hear.
That is good.
We got one here from Ruth as well too. She says, I want to believe this is all a movie to wake people up, but it is hard to believe when children are being jabbed, people are getting boosters, and so many world leaders are behaving like tyrants. How do you deal with all the negative stories and decipher the truth? Well, I don't really look at the negative stories, but I also see them as just part of us growing, right? We have to see the disasters. We have to see the ugliness in regards to humanity in order for us to change. If we just see the light, you're not going to move yourself into that great change. You've got to see the ugliness and the darkness of humanity for us to move into new ground.
Yeah. And also foolishness. Like I'm telling you, as a parent, if I even read one negative story, even if I knew nothing about all of this white hat, black hat stuff, but I heard one negative story too many about what could happen and how quickly these jabs were created and how they're likely experimental and anything. If I even heard a rumbling about that, as a good parent, I wouldn't let my kid near it or get near it myself.
Yep.
So I've never been into any kind of ridiculous. My body takes care of itself. We all have to grow up spiritually and learn that. Okay, my body knows exactly what it's doing, and I trust it way more than any pharmaceutical. So Absolutely. If somebody's still foolish enough to put their themselves first and then their children in harm's way like that, they need a wake-up call. So some of those are gonna get it, unfortunately, the hard way. And that sounds like the hard-ass way of doing it, but you know what? This is literally a spiritual war. So there's going to be casualties, and there's a lot less casualties because the white hats got involved on the back end and the human guardians are involved. So thank goodness for that, or we'd literally be wiped out as a human race.
We definitely need the behind the scenes help.
Yeah. So if some people get hurt like that is unfortunate, but it's absolutely going to be, and they soulfully, those souls who put their child in that kind of harm's way in other lifetimes. Okay, so who purposely brought their child to, I'm not saying some people have 18-year-olds, they could choose for themselves here. And you can't do anything about that. You can tell them as much as you can. It's not anybody's fault if somebody chooses. But if you take a small child and with everything that's out there available and you still go do that, then you're going to learn, maybe you'll get one of those bad batches. You're going to learn the hard way. And for lifetimes going forward, you'll never do anything that foolish again. That's a lifetime lesson you'll never forget. That'll be in your DNA forever.
Exactly. And even if we don't get the lesson this time, we're always going to come back around again. You guys have to remember, you are infinite, eternal spirit. You never die. You are undying. This, again, is when people realize this, to say, I don't really care about what's happening in the world. I know it's all part of a transition. I know it's all moving us into a better place. That's why I've said as well, too, like I said this in my broadcast earlier this week, guys, I don't even really care about doing the updates for you. I'm doing it because you guys care. Right? I share this information because I want to really teach you guys about how to go into the heart, how to live within, how to really just bring true freedom to yourself. That's what I'm all about. But I'll still do this work because you guys want to know. And this is why I do it. And I know, Janine, that's probably why you do it too. So
exactly.
Yep.
Well said, Brad.
It's about who we know we really are, who we really know ourselves to be, right? Being spirit every step of the way. Okay, so here's another one from Anna. Anna says, we know that the reptilians exist. Do the Cthulhu really exist in the Pacific Ocean? Okay, I guess you mean the giant squids. Apparently, these octopus-type beings are the overlords to the reptilians. The reptilians serve them. Okay, well, let's check the cards and see what they say about that. So yeah, there's a rumor about gigantic squids. No, that's what you guys are always missing out about the dragons. Right, that's another thing.
We got a yes on it. Aces are yes, especially if you pull it right off the cuff. So yes.
Yep.
And we're going to know more about that. There's information about that. That's moving out of troubled water with information. Swords are thoughts and words. So there's a lot of information coming out about that. Yep. So wow, fascinating. But yes.
So here's some news as well too, guys. So you basically have the squids. And now you have the Leviathans. This may be something you can put on the cards as well too, is that there's Leviathans. We could basically see them as dragons in that way. And they're actually in the deeper, kind of like the inner earth. And they would represent kind of like the grand overlords of them all together, basically representing the nature of all life upon the planet. So we basically have kind of like a yin and yang dragon, like Leviathans that actually exist deeply within the earth that are so colossal, we just couldn't even perceive them, but they may again exist like in different dimensional veils working together behind the scenes. I've heard a lot about the dragons. So the dragons would even be higher up than the squids, I would say. Wow. So very interesting. I've talked to quite a few dragons myself.
Wow.
I actually have a dragon. I have one called 𝐓𝐴𝐿. He's a red dragon. I'd hop on him a couple of times and go in between dreams with him taking me to those different places. So, awesome. Okay, we already got that question done. Okay, so let me just take a moment here, see what else we got here. Do you have a tip jar session? Oh, if you guys go onto YouTube, there's a top chat. You guys can leave a tip there if you want. Okay, so Patricia asked, what about the situation with Greece? Greece is disgusting. They're fining people over 60, 100 euro a month for the no job. I don't even know if that story is true, Patricia. I actually think Janine looked into that not too long ago about people being fined, like in Greece or Italy or something of that nature, saying that they'd get fined if that happens. If that's true, then like I said, that's more of just the movie. But again, that may be also a false article. So we can look into that situation of Greece.
We got lots of things you're hearing are maybe not true.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're keeping a lot of things secret that are happening there, and then things that they want you to think are happening there. So you got to trust me, this is an information war. A lot of stuff coming out, like even those stories about in Australia, those camps. Okay, so there was this girl that either escaped from one or she had video footage of one. Okay, I did a little look on my own on her, and she's absolutely a paid actress. Mm-hmm. That whole thing was a made up. And you could actually tell because she was just way too slick about it, right? And it was probably paid by the good guys, by the way, because they want you to think all of that. That's what the bad guys planned. And they were going to get us in there in the next, say, 5 years. They weren't going to do it as fast as they're doing it now. Okay, because none of that makes sense, how fast they're doing it. It's like all of a sudden, overnight, the entire world turned into a weird form of communism. How is that possible? They're trying to show you what these guys had in mind to do. We wouldn't have even figured it out if it wasn't for 17th, well, I'll say it on this Q drops. Okay. If it wasn't for, they started tipping us off about it. Okay. And I think they're largely maybe channeled from the human galactic helpers.
Oh, there you go.
I think, yeah, spirit world channeled, and whoever turned out to be Q was just a manifestation of some really high up spirit help and or off-worlder help.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy surrounding the Q phenomenon as well too. Here's one for you as well too, Janine, from YouTube. What is happening with the saved children from the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases? Are they still being rescued at this time? So I did a video a little while back about the deep underground military bases, right? There have been some people that have talked about it possibly happening here in Canada, and that there is some radiation leaks taking place. And like I said, they basically use mini nuclear devices to go into the deep underground military bases to penetrate that so that they can get their forces in there. Another interesting thing to know about as well too is a lot of the task forces that are contained in the counter forces have advanced ET technology that they're using. So like using modern technology and the ET technology, the Dark Cats don't stand a chance. Go ahead,
That's
Janine.
exactly right. Yeah, so that's the off-world technology we're talking about, and that's a military group, and even like militarized off-worlders. So armies from off-world
helping out joint operations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they're working together, absolutely, and they're doing really good work, and very happy even with how much they've got done. I feel like there's still some that are going to be really hard and going to take a lot of time to really understand exactly where they are and clean them out. Like they feel like every once in a while they'll get a surprise where something goes even deeper and there's even more stuff going on. But they're feeling really good about where they're at with it.
Yeah, it's really amazing what they're doing. Like I said, it really does not take them too long to go in and to take care of these things. And that makes sense of a joint operation, because I would sense this, okay, they got like ET technology. They're like very advanced. They can use these kind of advanced X-rays. They can scan the entire place without even using X-rays as well too. Their technology is radically advanced. This is why they have such an edge. Let's go to the next question here with Anna. Says, I heard that Mr. Trump, Mr. T, will not be coming back as president. He will be coming back as the commander-in-chief for part of the US military that guards Starlink. Moving forward, him and his team will be guarding Starlink. Is this true? Yeah, there's rumor around that there may be a brand new, I wouldn't even call him a president, perhaps a new leader for the US that may be military linked. This is kind of going back to what I was saying in early 2020 about that. So
it feels like it doesn't want to tell us exactly. So there's something going on around that might look different than everybody's vision of. So it'll be they're presenting something different than you're thinking, oh, it's him being reseated, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. It'll be a whole nother creative thing that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. And it'll be a surprise to everybody, but it'll absolutely bring out what's gone on in the past and take us forward in a positive way. So I think they'll really revisit what happened in November last year and clarify all of that. So that that'll make all the patriots happy. Okay. But I feel like it might look different. The whole organization will look totally different than what your vision is, because we've got that fourth cup. They've got a different way they're going to present.
Yeah, exactly. It's no longer a U.S. corporation anymore. It's going to basically be turned into a republic. Yeah. So with that, basically, it may even think that Trump's claim on the idea of a presidency may not be valid, because it's actually turning from a corporation into a republic. So it may be someone completely different. Like I said, there's a slight possibility that he may come back, but it feels more likely that there's a possibility of somebody brand new coming into the fold. It's kind of like I did a prediction back in 2020 when I was channeling Adronis, and he was basically saying that somebody new may be coming in, someone kind of younger who has more connections to the military, who actually may be ex-military themselves, or does have connections. But it feels like this new person is being prepared because there's no dirt on him. There's no dirt on him or her or whoever steps in, and that way that takes care of the rest of the disgruntled black hats.
I do get though that there's some kind of karmic situation writing itself for Mr. T, because he was really done badly by think about what they did, like raked him through the coals for all those years just because he was trying to do something good. So I feel like people are going to be happy with whatever position he ends up with, somehow we end up with some kind of a position that feels karmically just. So it may be just a whole different lineup of how you line things up. And for a long time, like you said, Brad, people have been saying the next person that actually is the leader does seem to be a military personnel. So that, and even at some point, Trump and gang were saying that there was going to be this guy. They even named the guy, some military guy. So that's interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, it's kind of a teetering scare right now. But like I said, everything that happened regarding the false elections, those are certainly brought to light. Yeah. So whether he comes back or not, nonetheless, that's going to be exposed. That's all part of his strategy. It's coming together. So, and he's working with a lot of the human guardians himself. He's very aware of them, right? He's met quite a few of them. It wouldn't surprise me that he's been in Cheyenne Mountain quite a few times himself. So let me just go down the list here. We're going to probably take about 2 more questions, guys. We're going to wrap up. Margaret says, question, will the World Health Organization and WEF, World Economics Forum, be dissolved soon? And what will replace it? Something a lot better. That's what it will replace it. Something more honest and ethical for sure.
Both those organizations are pretty much defuncted already. Yeah, so they're already, and they'll be replaced by, like Brad said, something with more integrity. Okay, something with a lot more integrity and some divine feminine in there. So I don't know what that means exactly. Bringing in some
a lot more women leaders, a lot more female leaders to come.
Yeah,
and I'm even getting that with quite a few countries. A lot more female women, or more female leadership is going to come together.
Yeah, and it'll be because when you look at it now, it's a lot of guys ruling those things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And here we have, and there's nothing wrong with guys, by the way. There's divine,
just as long as they're not corrupt, no corrupt guys.
Yeah, exactly. But it's time to balance things out on the earth, and we need some feminine divineness to be showing itself. Okay, so see this 7 of Pentacles here? It's going to take time, though, for all of that to develop. And we're going to have a part in it. We're going to have input in it. People will have a way that they can put their voice forward about how that looks.
Yeah, there might even be a rumor about the next prime minister actually being female as well. Too. We may have a woman prime minister. So that's just a feeling. It's never 100% concrete. But I feel like it's either that or, again, more femininity will be brought towards Canada as well, too. And that may even help with the U.S. The U.S. certainly needs it the most. Okay, guys, we're going to take one last question and we're going to wrap up for today. So let me see if I can find a really good one here in the chat here. Okay, so there's a lot of people talking about Marilyn Monroe, JFK, and Princess Diana. Are they still alive?
Interesting. In a really unique way. I wonder if they got taken off world and they.
I think they're in other bodies. I think that's the other thing. Yeah. I think they may have incarnated into other bodies. They may be off world, kind of as another receptacle, helping out behind the scenes in kind of a new form, a new identity.
Yeah, it looks like they could have rebirthed,
reincarnated.
Somehow or energetically. So, but it's their energy. So that's interesting. 5 and so, wow. The universe never divulges these things until we absolutely need to know. When I first started channeling all of those guys, I would get that they would agree to the way they had passed over was, and they'd give you details about it. Then I started looking at it and it looked like they were all with us. So there must have been a reason why people needed to hear it that way. And now it looks like they'll be with us, but it's in a really unique way or a unique form. So it's evolving as we go here, depending on maybe what we need or what humans are going to be sort of willing to accept en masse.
Yeah. They may also be giving a lot of spiritual guidance to many of us as well, too. So working in different ways behind the scenes as well. So that's great. That's wonderful news as well. That's even better than the idea of them still being alive here in a physical body. So.
Wow.
Excellent.
Okay.
So yes, I was talking to Janine just before we came on the air about my next guest next weekend. That will be Jared Rand, where I talked about the medical beds, because Janine, I know you got quite a few questions from the medical beds as well, too, from people. And like I said, when I interviewed this man, and like I said, I would legitimately say that he's the only one on the planet that could create an SSP style med bed. Right. So like I said, the ones that you can basically go into where if you're a 65-year-old man, you come out of it, you look like you're 18 years old. Right. And you basically have a 5,000-year lifespan. Right. This is what he's saying that he can do with his beds as well, too. So I'm looking forward to interviewing him down the road. But we could look into the final thing in regards to lesser med beds. Like, are there smaller med beds coming? I think you did a reading on this not too long ago.
Yep.
Med beds. Yeah. Because a lot of people make that a very, very common topic about med beds. So the whole idea is that yes, there's certain beds, that are available, but they can't do like what the SSP bed does. And like I said, he's the only guy I feel on the planet that could do it. He's had some interesting conversations with me as well too, regarding who has been trying to come after him with those beds. So it's going to have we're going to have a very interesting conversation next week as well too. Janine, did you have one last final thing that you wanted to share with anybody before we wrap up?
Well, let's see what the cards want to say to everybody.
Okay.
We'll just leave it open.
Yep, sounds good.
Ooh, 2 6s. 2 6s. So things are moving in a really much more positive direction. We've had some really big victories, and it's important to notice and talk about what you see out there that's changed in a victory, and not just the dreariness, and because that'll really help things come out more in the open. So we've had victories. Pay attention, and every day before you even go to sleep, you might want to think about a few good things that happened in the day, and not just the dreary news or things you heard that were scary. Or focus your energy in what's coming and visualizing, kind of like what you were saying earlier, Brad, about the kind of way to focus your mind to get things to happen, because we're at this point where we could really speed this up and get this darkness right off the earth plane. Be strategic with your words and thoughts. This card is strategy with words and thoughts. This guy changes his words and thoughts, because we could speed it up. It would be very powerful for everybody on this chat even to spend even 5 minutes a day just visualizing the world in that better place it can be, as if it already is, even if it doesn't seem realistic right now. Nothing's real anyway. You're not looking at reality right now. So try visualizing your own and stay in that bubble just for 5 minutes, or every time you get fearful, go in, like have a little point where you go into the imagination, almost like a child imagines things for the good. And we'll all be celebrating together a lot quicker if we can all work on this.
Absolutely. It's great. I also have a course on my YouTube channel, the playlist, the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge, right? So a lot of you guys are already aware of that. If it's a lot of people who are just coming onto this channel for the first time, because you see Janine here, you guys can check that out as well too. 30 days with that course is going to change your life. Right? I've got so many testimonials of people transform their life, because all we're doing is we're doing breathing techniques. We're going into calmness. We're reinforcing with our heart. We're seeing all this love energy around us. We're accumulating that love energy into us. And now we're using that love energy to heal anything, physical, mental, emotional, right? People have been doing it. They're seeing their lives transform around. The more that you live inside, the more that you are going to know what freedom truly is. That's where the peace is, right? So very good. I want to thank Janine again. Thank you very much for being here. So again, for those of you on Zoom right now, if you want to unmute your microphones and you want to say thank you to Janine for being here today, you can go ahead and you can do that. And thank you so much, Janine, for being here. It's a great.
Thank you, Miss Janine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janine and Brad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Janine and Brad.
Love you both. Love you guys.
We love you.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Love you, Miss Janine. And I love you, Brad.
Sending you both praises.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
You all love and light. As Janine said, our heart is our
Many blessings,
Bible.
guys.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you.
Brad. Really wonderful. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Janine. Again, we'll be in touch again soon. I'd love to do maybe an interview with you and Jean-Luc down the road. And no, did I say Jean-Luc? I mean Jean-Claude. I'm calling him Jean-Luc Picard. All right, sorry.
That's fun.
Jean-Claude.
He'd love that.
That's right.
You know what just happened there, Brad? was so magical. I could feel this wave of positive love energy. It was absolutely,
it was wonderful. I felt
feel
it
it literally. That was incredible. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. And thank you again, Janine. We'll definitely have Janine on again down the road as well too, guys. Thank you. We're done with questions for now. Thank you. And we'll talk again soon. Take care, guys.